Alright, we are going to make some yogurt. Here's some stuff that my wife has in the fridge, the Astral Balkan style. If I look at the ingredients, it says that it has an active culture. That means that we should be able to use this to make our own yogurt with some milk, a pot, and the stove actually, and a little bit of thyme. First thing I'm going to do is preheat my oven. I am not going to preheat it to 350. I am going to drop the temperature as far down as my oven will go, which is 170. It'd be better if your oven had 110, but you can still do it with 170. And I'm just going to preheat it. Now, I got my bag of milk here. That's, I believe, 1 1/3 liters in that bag of milk. And I'm just going to see if I can puncture this bag while I'm filming. Maybe not. Not looking so good. Alright, the milk is now in the pot. I am going to turn on the burner. I think about 2, actually about 3 at first. In fact, I'm going to go with 4 at the moment because I know that's a good temperature for pancakes, which doesn't scorch the pancakes, so it should be okay for what I'm doing. You want a thermometer to do this right. I have a really good, accurate digital thermometer. By the way, just because something is digital doesn't mean it is more accurate. That's a common misnomer, but I do happen to know that this one is extremely accurate. For one thing, it has a button for calibrating it against the freezing point, but I do know that this one is extremely accurate. I think I bought it online, cost me about 25 bucks. If you don't have one of the super accurate ones, even one of these cheapies, for I think I paid 8 or 10 bucks for this. You should be able to get these at Starbucks or another good coffee shop. That's quite good enough. I've found I've calibrated a number of these with my accurate one, and they are close enough for making yogurt. Not close enough for making beer, which is why I have the accurate one, but they are close enough for making yogurt. So I am just going to monitor this until it gets up to 185 Fahrenheit. And I forgot my lid. Hold on a sec. Okay, I am just going to monitor the temperature here until it gets to 185 Fahrenheit. Now, I wish actually this would be a good time to have one of those fancy thermometers where you set it for a specific temperature and the alarm will go off when it hits that temperature, in which case I would obviously set it for 185, and then I could walk away and go do something else. But I don't have one of those fancy ones, so I am just going to have to sit here and monitor this to make sure that it doesn't boil. Alright, I'm at 185. I'm a little bit over now, so I'm going to take this off the heat and put it up here, and I'm just going to try to hold it there for about 10 minutes. So I think just by having the lid on with the thermal mass of the whole thing, it should hold it for about 10 minutes. So I'm just going to leave it sit. Okay, when I took it off the heat, it was coming down in temperature a little bit too quickly. So I put it back on and put the heat on the lowest it'll go, and it seems to be maintaining the temperature reasonably well, although it's up and down a bit. I've been fiddling with it, but I don't think it's been a broad enough swing to really matter. And I've got about 3 minutes left here, and then I'm just going to let it cool down to the temperature when I add the starter culture to it. And what I've decided to do, actually, rather than do this in the oven, is I dug out a thermos bottle. It's stainless steel inside and out, and I'm going to give it a try in this thing. Hopefully that will hold the temperature over the requisite amount of time. What I'm going to do now is pour some boiling water into the thermos to preheat it, so it will be preheated by the time the mixture goes in there, the milk and the yogurt mixture goes in there. So I'm just going over to the microwave and going to boil up some water to go in there. Okay, the time is up, the 10 minutes. I've turned the heat off. I'm just going to leave it now. I'll check back. I'm going to set my timer. I'm just guessing here but I'll set my timer for 10 more minutes and then I'll come back and check the temperature. Next we're shooting for about 115 Fahrenheit, give or take, when we mix in the yogurt, and I'm just guessing that it'll take about 10 minutes to cool down to that level. Probably going to take more than that, I'm thinking, but I'll check it at 10 minutes and we'll see. Okay, the water is boiled from the microwave, and I'm just going to fill up the thermos. Just up to that first lip at the bottom there. I can hear it, but I can't see it there. I can see it now. Right about there, I think. And what did I do with the lid for that sucker? There it is right there. I'm just going to fix the lid and let that thermos preheat, and whenever we're ready we'll just keep that liquid in there, the boiling liquid in there, until we're ready to put the yogurt in, and all should be good. So I actually added 10 more minutes, so 16 minutes have gone past. The temperature is still only at 175 Fahrenheit, which means it's probably going to be the better part of an hour to come down to where I need it. Yes, I could speed it up quite a bit by taking the lid off, but it's actually a pretty sanitary environment in there, and I want to keep it as sanitary as possible, which means keeping the lid on. So I will keep monitoring it over the next hour, and we'll let you know when we get to where we have to be. Okay, it's an hour and 40 minutes now, 45 minutes, quite a long time. It's down to 115 Fahrenheit, which should be okay. I'm going to take the top off the thermos bottle, and just out of curiosity I'm going to check its temperature. It's still very hot inside. That is 192, 193. That's pretty impressive that it kept that temperature over almost 2 hours. 194. It's lost 18 degrees Fahrenheit, but that's including the temperature it lost in order to heat that up. So I am going to dump this out and then mix some yogurt into my milk. Hold on. I've just got the last little bit of some yogurt here. It looks like there is probably, I don't know, 2 to 3 tablespoons there. I think that should be enough. I'm going to have to shut the camera off in order to scrape that all into my pot here, but that's basically all I'm going to do. Okay, I've just given it a really good stir in there. The yogurt's all mixed in. I checked the temperature after adding the yogurt. It's 110 degrees Fahrenheit. And this pot should pour reasonably well. Whoops, it helps if I get it on target. Yeah, I can see I don't have the yogurt mixed in as well as I thought, because there's chunks coming out there. Let's look down in the little top there. We're not going to have enough room for all of this, so I probably will stop it right about there, and I'm going to fix the lid, and we'll see what we end up with in the morning. I'm going to put that on there good and strong, and then I'm going to give this a good shake to try to mix that yogurt up a bit more, because I evidently didn't mix it enough. I'm going to shut the camera off so I can tighten that. Alright, I'm just going to give it a little shake now. I rinsed off the outside. You can see as I was pouring it that I got a bunch of stuff poured on the outside. Shake, 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 shake your booty. Alright, you really don't want to hear me sing. Trust me on that one. And I'm just going to leave it here overnight and see what we get in the morning. Maybe I'll have yogurt for breakfast in the morning. We'll see. This I'm going to measure to see how much is left over, and then I will maybe drink it, or I don't know what I'll do with it yet.